Hey man, you already know we rocking this bad for the community. Back with another
Bad
reaction video.
Reacts.
Yeah, BFTC Reacts is back. And we got Dr. Umar Johnson on the Breakfast Club. You know, he's a funny he's not intentionally funny, at least.
Funny dressing dude.
Hey, bro, look at this fit, bro. This is bad. This is bad
It's a little
suits.
atrocious, nigga.
Yo, nah, what does his pants look like?
You think they plaid too? Plaid on
fully
plaid is
commit.
nasty.
If
I'm
it's
not
fully
gonna
commit,
hold you.
That's nasty. That is nasty.
Oh, we got
work.
the stylist Angel over here. So you gotta
sir.
rate the fit real quick.
Nasty work. 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. What gives it the 2 points though?
It gets 2 points because it looks like he tried.
2 for effort.
Yo, look how sad, look how happy he looks.
He look like he's about to get in his bag. I'm trying to hear what he got to say. Let's play this.
Or he was going to determine how much reparations America owes African people. Right after that, Johnny Cochran ends up dead. Patrice Lumumba in the Congo, first democratically elected prime minister of the Congo, they poisoned his daughter in trying to poison him. The CIA through the toothpaste. We got to be careful about what we eat and what we drink, especially me.
Especially. He said especially. He put himself in that conversation.
You know, who gets reparations and how much reparations.
Well, let's take it a step further. The state of California legislature just approved in the past few days a bill that will give each African American in the state of California $233,000.
Time to move.
Time to move, right? If they start doing that.
A cash payout for reparations is a trap. And the reason a cash payout for reparations is a trap is because so much of what
nigga wore jeans with this fit.
He's wearing jeans?
No.
He's wearing jeans under there?
1 out of 10. Nasty
Oh,
work.
and they're baggy jeans too.
I mean, if they were fitted jeans, I feel like they were fitted jeans, it'd be worse.
Nah, at least like slim straight. You can do slim straight.
Slim straight jeans
Wow.
with that would be even worse. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't expect that. No bullshit.
That is nasty work.
I did
That
not
pose,
expect that.
that pose is bad. It's like
Yo.
he's like 50. He looks like he's trying to be cool.
Does he have a point though? That like cash payments are a bad idea?
Yeah, it's not that it's a bad idea. It's
We
that
heard
it's like
niggas
a
like
trap.
Tomo say like, yo, if they pay me $1 million to sign a 360 deal, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna buy a grill.
But that's what I'm saying is that I think what he's saying is that it's not enough. You feel me? Because when you
Tight.
take the cash, then
That's
it's like
it.
then they'll be like, oh, we don't owe you anything
We
else.
don't owe
We
you
gave
nothing
this.
else. That's it. Y'all got paid. Leave it at that. Forget about it. Move
And I
on.
don't think that's it because it's not about that. You feel me? It's reparations
So-
for all the things that have like that's restitution. You feel me? The payment is restitution. That's not settling the score though.
Okay.
Reparations is making sure that the damage cannot be repeated and also that the damage in part is like taking like people have accountability for the damage that they've caused.
I agree with that. Now, do you think the cash payment, if they were to do cash
These
payment,
niggas barely even want to talk about slavery
would that only
unless it makes the money.
improve people's individuals' lives instead of like, do you trust it to actually do something that would help the entire community instead of just like the individuals a part of the community?
You know, they had like the stimmy. This is the niggy. You know what I mean?
It's the nigga,
So it's
bro.
like, yo, niggas was going lips at the stimmy, bro. You got niggy, bro.
Niggaless payments.
Niggas said 233,000. You know how much Louis Vuitton I could buy with that money? You know how much more money I could put in a white man's pocket with this
Like
money?
niggas
shit
would go
on-
up to that shit,
I
bro.
saw-
You already
so-
know. I think it will. It will only help the individual. You feel me? Because I think there's something that's going on in Boston right now when it comes to like home ownership and shit like that, where they're putting a focus on like the black community in the city, like specifically like the Black American community and like the Latinx community, but
Yeah.
not so much like the Caribbean community, which is interesting. But for those, but I
That's
think
a
it's because
fact.
a lot of those people own homes already in the city, which is cool. Yeah, Cape Verde, and they have the largest population of home ownership in Dorchester. Shout out to y'all. Y'all also have the highest rate of death in Dorchester as well. That's interesting.
Killing our own cousins.
Yeah, it's a weird dynamic. I don't know. It's a very strange dynamic. I'm not
I
gonna
couldn't
like,
explain it to you.
yeah, facts. There has to be examination there for sure. But with that being said, there's like home ownership where it's like they want people to take these classes and like you cannot apply and you can't do this unless you have the proper information on how to use this money. You know what I mean?
Like
Otherwise, you
financial
can't-
literacy classes. That's
yeah, and moving beyond that, and specifically like in the home ownership realm.
Yeah.
So I think if they were to give people money, then it would be like you can't get the money unless you like do all this
Educate
stuff
yourself.
beforehand. So you're not just using it for whatever because we want to make sure that you're using it to set yourself up for success. Once you take the classes, you can spend it on whatever you want, but we want to make sure that you at least have the resources and you have the knowledge base of those resources. I think that would be a good solution
I
as
think
well.
too.
And like even making that shit free, making it all like accessible like across generations, all that shit.
Fixed in American society for African people will take more than cash to do it. In other words, I give DJ Envy $233,000. Or if I take the Bob Johnson plan, he said each American African is due $350,000, right? I give you $350,000. Does that stop mass incarceration?
Nope.
Does that stop miseducation? Does that stop gentrification? Does that stop police genocide? Does that guarantee us access to wealth?
Speaks with so much conviction.
Nate
Real
method.
nigga. Hey man,
He's not wrong. He's right. He's spitting too.
But sometimes he be loud in his ignorance too. And that's where the double-edged sword.
That's the harm. That's the harm.
And then guess what they're going to do after they give the reparations to African people? They're going to find subsidy programs to give to the LGBTQ, to the women, to
See,
immigrants.
that's
I
where
heard
it's
that
like,
and I was like,
he's gone too far.
Wait,
What's wrong
that's
with
like,
that, though?
That's like the Kanye, you know what I'm saying? So you're saying
'Cause
some
he's
shit
making-
and then it just, whoa, wait a minute.
Because like you said, right? Even if that were to happen,
what's wrong
what's
with
the
that?
problem?
Yeah, like,
They're
like,
disenfranchised too.
we got
That's what I'm saying.
They get their
and like,
piece.
and it's also that separation. I hate when niggas do this
As if
shit,
there's
bro.
not
You know what I mean?
intersectionality
I'm like,
between the
nigga, you
communities.
cannot talk about the LGBT plus community if you're not talking about the black people within those communities. You
Fact.
can't talk about disabled people if you're not talking about black
So
disabled.
what
Like,
we gonna do?
the
We gonna
shit-
exclude them just because they have
Exactly.
trans identities? Like,
He's like, no, you're black, nigga.
Before that,
You know what I mean? Now there's other shit that you might be, but don't worry about that shit though. We're talking about you as a black person, but like all the parts of my identity are relevant when you're talking about my
because
identity.
I don't know if I didn't catch it. What is his issue with it? That we just won't get as much as we could, or it's
He's
because
basically
it's
saying
a
that the-
process?
yeah.
Like, what?
It's like,
Like,
you gonna put us in a hot position just to kind of
Elevate
try to
other
even it
people?
up. Like, yeah,
He's like, how you gonna? He's like, if you elevate us, don't elevate them.
but ain't that the problem to begin with? We're
That's
not at the
it,
same
yes.
level with them,
That is
so
the
we're trying to
problem.
catch up.
He's seeking the advancement of African peoples, right?
And
but
that's
not
great.
the advancement of all
Yeah,
African
exactly.
peoples and not the advancement of
all
all
people.
I think he's also conflating those two ideas. We can be up, right? Because first of all, like I said, it's not even like, there's no guarantee that like they'll give us reparations or whatever. And then next thing you know, they'll be like, oh, let me give reparations to all these other people, right? That's obviously not going to happen. Because I think he's looking at like an NFL, like, you know how when like one quarterback gets paid, then it's like that sets the bar. So not every quarterback got to get paid that money, that amount or more. He's thinking of it like that. Oh, if they give black people this much, then they're going to give the LGBT community even more. Like they're going to have to like, right? It ups the ante. And then we're going to have to come back like years later and be like, contract renewal, where's my extra
And then,
reparations type shit.
and then it
But that's
turns
not the
into a
case.
nasty conversation of comparing each other's struggles. Like,
Exactly.
they ain't struggle as much as us. Why they make that much? Like, get
Type
that
shit.
much? Like,
And he will have that conversation.
oh, he
bullshit.
would definitely.
This nigga
Even
do
if,
not
you just,
care.
even if you just shout into the void, he gonna have that conversation. Nigga, where the school at?
Number one, control of all black music must only be done through the
That's
black
the first
community. No non-African can control our music. Prince, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Biggie, Tupac. If the publishing, if the marketing, if the promotion, if the recording is not controlled by black people, that has to change. We own our own music. Nobody can own, sell, produce, publish, promote black music but black people.
Why is that so important?
Because music is one of America's leading export industries. America makes more money off black music than almost anything else that she sells. So if we control the music, we have a steady stream of global revenue where we can build a black Wall Street in every single city in America for black people.
Y'all agree with that? I think it's. I
don't
think it's
think
actually no.
he's wrong.
I think he's not wrong at all. I think it's facts, bro. When I even
He
then,
gotta get his priorities straight though. No bullshit. Nigga put music first.
he did.
You would think genocide and all that shit would be first. That's my thought. You would think, oh yeah, don't kill any more of us. Don't put us in prison. That's what I would put as a priority. No bullshit.
I'm sure he gets to
I
it.
thought
but-
about that, but I didn't want to jump into that because like we're 60 minutes in the conversation. I don't know what they're talking about exactly. Maybe early at one point.
He listed it though. He's listing the things that would.
Well, one
include
doesn't mean it's got to
reparations.
be the priority, but he's just like
I would've
first
listed
thing he's
something
listing,
else.
whatever the
Breakfast
case
Club,
is.
media outlet. He's probably just thinking
Regardless-
music centered. I don't know.
I don't think
Maybe.
he's wrong, bro. Like if you
Y'all
look
keep
at
giving
it,
this nigga the
it's
benefit.
the producers are black. Most of the
Umar.
producers, if we're talking about hip hop or just like genres that black people are dominating. The producers are black, the artists are black, like, and the only thing is the label, the people who are running the labels are white, and they get to eat off all the works of art that black creators
But
are
the problem
creating,
is
bro.
too, though, the labels could be black. But what about the parent companies? They're also major houses that are all predominantly white. Sony, Universal, all these niggas.
He's saying everything should be owned by blacks, African people. And I think like he has a point, right? Like I don't disagree with this. I think like the biggest thing on my end that I'm thinking of when I'm hearing this is that like, bro, at the end of the day, like when it comes to music specifically, like niggas are signing contracts.
That
I mean, like niggas
there
can
has to be accountability
Yeah.
on the people who are
But there
actually
also needs
agreeing to
be
these.
education provided.
facts. And I think that's what I would much prefer. As I would much prefer, like, for the industry itself to be shifted and changed in a way that everyone that's being informed of these contracts, everyone that's being put into these contracts, they have the proper education necessary in order to make those moves.
I can't be
themselves.
mad at a nigga signing some shit that he just doesn't understand.
But you can
like
be
the
mad at the
language
predator
is just not-
tactics of giving them a lawyer that's also their lawyer.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know what
There
I
needs to
mean?
be a lot of
Or
fuckery going
putting
on when it comes to
wording
this.
that
There's a whole
only a
lot of
lawyer
fuckery.
can even understand, and it's not straightforward.
I think that after people pass, and I think that after people retire, like they're right, like there should be like a 401k for like artists. type
I was
shit.
about to say there should be insurance.
You feel me?
There
Because it's a
definitely
job
should
at the
be
end of the day. I think that that to me feels equitable because I think like what he's asking
shame.
is like very much like I don't know.
And they
I was thinking about
introduced that idea of some type of fund that goes to these retired artists because they talk about how the pioneers of
Facts.
rap are
A lot of niggas
they're
broke.
so responsible for we're standing on the shoulders of giants, but it's the newer artists that are raking on
Facts,
all
the
the
camera
money.
zoomed in. Niggas don't know about them giants.
Exactly, and they assume it's self-made, but really you couldn't have done it without it. I think that camera died. That sucks.
Damn. Bone Thugs.
1, 2. All black inventions return to us permanently. Everything we invented is a permanent patent for Africans. And if you want to use it, you must pay us a percentage. The cell phone, we invented that. Internet, that's
Like, bro, this is the thing that I'm not rocking with, bro. Everything is about money with this nigga, bro. Like, I get it, it's reparations, but like I said, like he even said himself, that's not enough. So why is it that every time he's listing some shit, it's all about money, 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 money?
The money's definitely not gonna fix all the problems.
Like, nigga, like what? That's why I also was saying, like, why is he not mentioning, like, we're talking about like these private
But he
prisons.
did point out genocide, like he did point out like the reason the cash payment isn't enough, but there's truth in like
But then he
money is
proceeds to,
power,
like,
bro. Like when you
feel
have
you.
there's freedom in having wealth that
I think
doesn't bind you to these systems as well.
I think he's concerned because I agree. I think that makes perfect sense. I think he's more concerned about keeping that money flow like into the community, which I think is very reasonable. I also think that like it doesn't matter how much money flows into your community, like if oppression still exists in that way, where it's like niggas can still just kill you and get away with it. You know what I mean? Police can still kill you and get away with it. They can still lock us up at a wildly increased rate compared to white people for petty shit. And niggas be in prison for all their life.
And that would need to be addressed. But at the same time, I also do think a lot of people, I feel like the prison population would decrease tremendously because people aren't in a position to have to take certain risks because they want to be financially stable.
Perhaps, and I agree with you. And I think that's also why it's so important that we like are able to like expunge specific records for like nonviolent offenders, especially as they're like if they're minors, shit like that. You know what I mean? Like this is a lot of work that I did around criminal justice reform when I was like first getting started as a community organizer. So I definitely understand like the nuances of it. I also know that like as someone who has like anti-capitalist beliefs, like this is not like the shit's not gonna change just because you give one community money. You give one community money, and then the next thing you know, the next community just doesn't have money.
ours. Helicopter, that's ours. Self-lubricating engine, the microphone, the stop sign, the walkie-talkie.
Niggas made a stop sign?
Niggas invented a microphone.
That nigga Kanye just said it was a Jewish nigga, not Jewish
But
nigga.
he was
German
also,
nigga
he was
that said
also, Kanye was also wrong when saying that. I think the music, I was with it. Then he started listing all these inventions, slippery ass slope, bro. Because every community starts having that thought process. Like, we about to gatekeep every invention. I promise you, we will get the short end of the stick.
How you know?
Bro, you see all the things he named, bro? All those things are cool. But they not the internet. They not the cell phone. They not
He said the internet. He said the cell phone.
Oh, he did.
Those are the first two. Those are the first two.
But what about agriculture?
Is this factual?
I don't know.
Is this
bro.
I really want to know. Like,
you gotta
is this
fact check
This is a nigga that be speaking out his eyes, bro. So
the
we
nigga
might
said the
need some-
telephone, and I think that that's valid. Like people talked about it, but those were like shared inventions. Like all the inventions, like that
nigga
people talking
Tesla
about.
did that shit first.
Nah,
The telephone? It wasn't the other nigga that they tried to give credit
Alexander
to.
Graham Bell.
It wasn't him, bro.
Yeah, they're saying that it wasn't Nikola Tesla either. It was a black man that he.
Yo, y'all
that
knew
Alexander
Mozart was
Graham
black?
Bell-
Yeah, man.
Not Mozart, Beethoven.
Beethoven, excuse me.
Yeah.
Niggas made music too. We've been doing that though.
No bullshit. But I think with that, it's like I agree with you. It is slippery. But also those are shared inventions. Like the internet or like cell phones don't exist if like certain of the like specific pieces and shit like that doesn't like come to fruition first. Who patented those things, right? All this shit is like some of the shit like nigga said a helicopter. Nigga, you invented the blade. You invented aerodynamics.
You feel me, right?
Like, come on,
Like,
nigga.
even
Like,
the resources, it's like if you want to look at it that way, the resources coming out of Africa.
exactly.
A lot of them.
They're coming from, but they're not invented by
You
Africa.
feel me? So it's like, where you want to go with this?
You know what I mean?
Bro, I'm waiting for the day this nigga has his Uncle Ruckus moment where he finds out he has white in him.
For real.
That's just gonna
Bro,
fuck
we
him
seen
up.
that nigga in the
That's just gonna
restaurant.
fuck him up.
He was talking to the white girl.
No, he actually cleared it up. That was
He's
like
buying a cell phone.
no. It's a whole thing, but let's keep it going.
From the kiosk in the mall.
Without Lewis Latimer, you don't get street lights at night.
Stay
You
pulling
don't
out
get
names, but we gotta
constant
look these niggas up.
illumination anywhere in the world. So guess what? Anybody running lights,
Yeah, they
you're
names
paying
for all of
black
them.
people. Take back ownership of our music. Take back ownership of our inventions. Next on the list is all the confiscated lands. We had hundreds of thousands of acres of land stolen from us between 1865 and Malcolm's assassination in 1965. We need to put together a research team that's going to investigate all the land that was stolen from African people and return it back. Since most of our people are dealing with homelessness, we have the highest homelessness rate in Black America since the 60s. If we can get our land back, that will go a long way to getting a lot of our single mothers and their children off the street. In addition to that, America has about 10 major exports: gold, oil, water, electricity. We get a 25% cut permanently. This is perpetual. Every time America makes $1.
Like I said, this nigga's just concerned about streams of income, bro. This nigga did not give a fuck, bro. This nigga said that shit about Kanye. He was like, I don't know if like a lot of shit that Kanye says, it seems like he's more in it for himself. He's not in it for the people. And I'm like, I hear that he's in it for the people, right? But it's like, at the end of the day, this seems real personal, bro.
That us.
It's like, nigga, I feel like you want it because you're black. You don't want it because you think that black people are great.
If he didn't fall into the category that he's repping for,
Yeah, I feel like
he's
he would
not
rep
going
anything.
this hard, bro.
No bullshit.
Because any other ethnic group would look at that and be like, yeah, that's OD. Like,
And I think that is backwards, right? Because at the end of the day, if you can advocate so staunchly for one group, then you need to be doing that for other groups as well, and bringing other people along with you. Because if you're like, fuck this nigga, bro. Niggas cannot be free until all of us are free, bro. Like, that's like basic shit, bro.
Hampton
That's literally
approach.
liberation, bro. 101.
And that's the
Hampton,
point.
shout out Fred
I didn't explain it well, but that was the point. I feel like we're just repeating a cycle. Like, going hard for your
look
people
at
is
this
great,
nigga, bro.
but going hard for your people to the point where like you're creating separation, bro.
Bro, you see this nigga's face, bro? He's dead ass.
No, he means it.
And that's
but
again, that's what I'm saying.
that
about
rhetoric is dangerous, bro.
That's what I'm saying about the whole conviction. It makes it seem like he's so right about everything he's saying because he's so passionate about it.
It's weird to me.
Like, no one is questioning anything he's saying right now. No stopping
Because
what
they
he's saying.
benefit from
'Cause
it,
it's like,
bro.
I've never equated passion for like
Being right, yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah.
I feel like this nigga just be winning people over because he's touching a lot of, you feel me, sensitive topics. And he is coming with valid points, but it's like, bro.
And if
like,
you're black and you hear this, you're like, that's lit. I'm getting a percent. Like, you don't hurt, but you have to see the bigger picture. Like, how are we supposed to move forward if we're still, no one expects people to be colorblind, but this is like just advocating for one group of people. What happened when that same thought process led to centuries of slavery?
I don't necessarily agree that that's the direction that he's going in, but I think like the parallels are there. The parallels are
it
glaring,
creates that
right?
dynamic,
Like you said.
though.
And I think what really is harmful to me is that like this is all without like the thought. I think it also comes at the expense of other groups a lot of times with the shit that he be saying, right? He'll be saying, oh, like Asian people got this and this and this, and we didn't get this. We deserve that. And I'd be like, all right, so are you saying that they don't deserve that in turn? He was like, they shouldn't have gotten that. We should have gotten that. I'd be like, oh, so that is what you're saying. Damn. I was like, I was kind of with you, but then he'll like say, oh, Asian people don't deserve this. We deserve this. Or like they're doing this for Asian people, but not for us. They need to be doing that for us and not for them. It's vice versa. It's like, my brother, you are misguided. And it's also that he's asking this shit of our oppressors. That's what also sucks. They be like, you don't want white people to be
What's
on
that
top.
saying though? Like, the oppressed become the oppressor. Like you, this is what you've learned from the oppressor.
Facts.
And now you're trying to flip the tables.
And not even on, but the thing is, he's not even trying to flip the tables on white people though. He's trying to flip the tables on everyone but white people, it seems.
to be honest.
I think everybody.
Because it seems like he's just
Why
trying to
you
be
think
on the
he's
same
screwing white
level
people?
as them. Because he's asking it of them. He said, I want 25% for black people.
Who's administering that 25%?
The people that have it right now.
Yeah, right.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, you're asking like the master's tools will not be used to free us, bro. Like that's like simple shit, bro. I don't know. I feel like this nigga probably skipped out on some of the classes, bro. No bullshit.
He stopped at the first class like, yo, we need bread.
He was like, oh shit. He had to drop out because he had the bread. And that's valid. But it's like, golly.
Let's keep
It's
let's
crazy,
keep it going.
10 states. All 10 of the states that represent 60% of us are seaboarding states. We should automatically control the port so we know what's coming in, what's going out, and we also get a percentage of that. But here's my
Nigga want
biggest
the
issue with
port
reparations
too?
3. One, psychological damages. I'm not hearing enough of the reparations talking heads discuss enough about the psychological damages. You know you can get far more from what you're owed psychologically than you can ever get for 243 years of unpaid labor on the plantation.
You spitting this
The
part.
psychological damage is what affects us the most. Every time you see a black man with a white woman, that's psychological damage.
Every time?
Now
you
he's
see a black
spitting.
woman-
Hold on a second. I'm cutting with him a little bit. Hold on a second.
Damage. Every time you see a little black boy or girl playing with a white doll instead of a black doll, that's psychological damage. When you see a black man take the life of another black man, that's psychological damage. America owes us
agree
more
with that
for
one.
the psychological
Okay.
holocaust than she can ever owe for the labor. So we need to talk more about that. In addition to that, I don't hear nobody talking about the role the Arabs played in the transatlantic.
All right.
Now let him go. Hold on. I just gotta know, where does it go? I gotta know.
I don't hear anybody talking about the role that the European Jews played in the slave trade. I don't hear nobody talk about the role that the Catholic Church played in the slave trade. If we're going to talk about reparations, bring every group that was responsible, those who financed the slave ships.
That'd be Nigerians too, though.
Okay, let's talk about that. There was participation from some African kingdoms. We know that Dahomey, for
we know
example,
why.
which was popularized in the Lion King movie.
The Woman King.
The Woman King movie. There was some African participation, but guess what? The transatlantic slave trade was a European operation.
That's a fact.
It was controlled.
The Dutch,
It
the
grew.
Portuguese.
It was financed by Europeans. When many of the African nations found out what was really being done to us, because in Africa, there was no concept of chattel slavery. There was no such thing as owning people forever.
Oh, just for a little bit amount of time.
I mean, yeah, how you think them Egyptians made them pyramids, nigga?
Nigga, how do I borrow you as a slave if the work I'm giving you is gonna kill you?
I reject any proposal that wants to make African people more liable for slavery than the white people who owned, controlled, expanded, and benefited
Oh, I agree
from
with
it.
that. Yeah.
Yo, watch this nigga's hand, bro.
Bro, I was looking at this nigga's hand the entire time.
Because the other hand not doing nothing.
Holding jeans up.
Nah, bro, this nigga's other hand is definitely like this.
Run that back.
Money isn't going to fix many of the problems that we have. Money isn't going to stop the back and forth.
Okay.
So the criticism you had-
and tearing
Hold on, let
down
me-
that's going on all over the internet between black men and black women. Money not going to stop that. Money ain't going to make the black man love the white woman anymore. You understand me? Money is not going to
Any
remove
less? I think
the
he meant-
I think he
self-hatred
meant less, right?
complex
Like-
that so many African people have within us.
Or maybe he
There's
didn't.
so much that we have to do on our own that money cannot buy. So
Spin.
anybody who thinks that money is going to reverse the psychological holocaust is insane. It has its place, but it is not a panacea for all of our problems.
Why he's been acting like that the whole fucking interview then?
Facts. Hey, shout out to
Yo,
Dr. Umar
like,
for that.
Like E said, it's like
He understands that there has to be
it's
a
a
holistic
lot of
solution.
good
He just
shit
don't
mixed
got the
with
answers.
some bullshit here and there. You feel
Yeah,
me? And
I
that's
feel
what
like that's-
convolutes the message sometimes.
Which makes him human. Nigga
Yeah.
can't be right.
He's
all the
spitting.
time.
I feel like the only issue that I take with it still, based off what he just said, following up, is like I can say that he's covering some of the topics that I mentioned before, which is dope. So that means that he is thinking of it as like a holistic problem that needs a holistic solution. Fire. However, he is still excluding black groups or black people from some of these other minority groups or some of these other marginalized groups. And I think that until that mindset shifts and that mindset changes when he's addressing like black people as a whole, like recognizing that like if we're getting something, it still has to be like a holistic thing for like other people because we're a part of those other groups as well, then I think shit's never gonna change.
Hey man,
And I'm never gonna fully agree. But I fuck with it.
if y'all enjoy this, make sure y'all like and subscribe. But most importantly, if y'all like this, if we get enough likes, we gonna get Nate versus Dr. Umar Johnson in a video.
I thought you were saying
And
a fight.
that
I was
is
like,
gonna
yo,
be
that nigga
great
might
for
win,
the
bro.
community.
Y'all seen this nigga, bro. This nigga like 6'3".
An
See this nigga's hand,
intellectual
bro.
debate. An intellectual debate between.
You gotta put a
Nate
number
Nicks.
out there. You can't just say enough
Facts. It gotta
likes. You
get
gotta
like
put a number.
17,000 likes.
It's got to be enough for Dr. Umar to pay attention.
It'll be the loudest conversation you heard in many moons.
Who's the white Dr. Umar?
Kanye.